Thank you, whoever did that.
I think that was me. I didn't even realize that it was playing on the other platform. I thought I had to select it. I didn't realize it would autoplay. My bad.
There you go.
My bad.
All right.
No worries.
Welcome.
It's always better to watch yourself.
Welcome to our next interview here at Devnexus. Not really here, unfortunately, but yeah, no, I'm gonna do it every interview because I'm in pain. I want to hug you and I can't, so that's a bummer. But still, welcome, Valarie. It's great to have you. And yet again, we spoke last year at Devnexus in Atlanta, and here we are back in our virtual studio. Very excited to have you, and thank you for being with us.
Oh, thanks for having me. I look forward to this all the time. I mean, honestly, if we could just go grab a beer, I would do that too. I just like talking to you gentlemen. So
I have coffee.
A pro tip for those of you at home, when you're drinking your coffee in a meeting, make sure you blow on it so people think your wine is coffee.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, that works. Yep. It totally looks like you're drinking coffee.
That's a good tip.
No one can.
Any tricks on how to hide the foam though when you have the full cup of beer?
Oh yeah, no, just use a mug, babe. Just, you know what? Stay below screen, pour, let the head resolve, and then
yeah. You can also use like a travel mag with the lid, and then even if your camera will catch something, it won't see the foam. So that's
I have one of those from a conference, so yeah, I'll get to dust it off.
Another pro tip is if you're doing something naughty and you don't want it to be visible on camera, tell your children, just mute for a second and hey, go pour mommy another drink, and then have them bring it to you in a coffee cup. See, I've learned a lot during COVID.
The problem is they rush into, here's your wine, mom, and then it's kind of...
Not if you beat them enough.
That's true, but the first couple of times are dangerous.
So how's the conference for everyone else whose heart is on fire and dying because there wasn't a speaker dinner and I miss all the participants? How y'all doing? Mental health
Good.
check?
We were just chatting with Mohammed earlier today, so he was awesome and gave his talk. Super excited to be back at Devnexus, and he was with us last year physically, but unfortunately we were all doing virtual interviews this year. Although he told us that he's been to a bunch of conferences he always wished he could have been to this year. So it's like the dream list of conferences. What sort of awesome places have you been this year, Valarie?
So, well, I can tell you the places that I should have been, and instead I was in my living room. I spoke out of Bangalore for GIDS, and that was great. I did luck out that DevFest Siberia was virtual this year. This really worked out for me, this whole COVID thing, because I actually had COVID during that conference. And so I got sick on Thanksgiving Day. Just y'all out there, please don't get COVID. I got sick on Thanksgiving Day, and I don't remember the next week. I have vague memories of running a high fever and we couldn't get it down. And we thought I was going to die. It was really fun. Sarcasm. But yeah, so for DevFest Siberia, there was a deadline to record your talk. And I kept thinking every day, I'm just going to push this deadline, push it, because I'll get better. Right. No, at some point I realized the deadline was tomorrow and I wasn't going to be better. So I felt so bad because come the day that I was supposed to be online doing QA while they played this video, I was literally in bed non-functional. It was the longest month of my life between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And all 5 of us got sick. You don't know fun until you've seen a toddler with COVID. That was neat. So shout out to my awesome husband for keeping me alive. He was slightly less sick than me, so he just took up all my slack and let me survive. It was amazing. I chose well. I think I'm going to stick with this husband. I think third time's a charm.
COVID is a test for a lot of things.
Yeah. I mean, I figure if our marriage can survive me having COVID and literally doing things like rolling off the couch and crawling army style to the next room. I just refused to ask him to pick me up because I did gain the COVID-19 when this all started. And what if he can't pick me up anymore? I can't be on death's door and have my pride hurt. That's not fair.
Oh, this is brutal. Yeah. So you say don't get COVID? Not worth it?
No, 0 of 10 stars. Do not recommend.
Okay. We'll pass on it. Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, other than like that's really only been the only silver lining of COVID for me. As far as conferences go, I'm so in awe of the people who seemingly are just seamlessly transitioning to this online world. Just little things like the people who always have good lighting. And I had to like think about it because my basement office is like Gollum's cave, just so we're clear. I can't even show you what I had to do to make it not like a bat cave in here. And I don't know, thanks to JFrog, I have a nice microphone at least.
Yay!
Oh,
yeah,
very
this
nice.
sounds really good, by the way.
But yeah, like it's just this whole online world. I guess I just got so used to the routine of going to events, and there's a flow when you travel, especially within tech. There's a flow for getting to the speaker's dinner, and okay, I'm going to check in first, and this is what I do, and this is when I run my talk one last time, and blah, 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 blah. And I feel like there's something almost about not having to put on real pants that makes it harder to focus on all the minutia that has to happen for these conferences to run. Like I'm so impressed with Pratik and Vincent that even running an online event that's so far out of their usual routine. I mean, they had that down to a science. And I'm just so impressed at the tiny details that they have managed to consistently remember and nail. It's just like, I don't know. I've been impressed.
Yeah, no, they do an awesome job, and considering it's all volunteer run, it's crazy what a great conference they pull off each year. So speaking of kind of like acclimating to new things, I think one of the things which we've all been scared about is what if you had to start a new job under COVID and meet all your coworkers virtually. So have you ever experienced that?
Yeah, so today is my third day at Salesforce. And I cannot stop smiling. I'm going to sing praises real fast. First of all, for any of you out there listening, Salesforce is right now hiring all levels of DevOps engineers at multiple locations. Come join us. It's super fun. But I have to tell you, I have been so impressed. Like part of why I didn't even want a job hunt was just the fear of starting mid-pandemic. And I have been so impressed with how welcomed and supported I felt the last 3 days. Everything has been laid out for me. This is what's expected. This is what you're going to do. Here's all the resources you need. And then here's 5 additional resources that you really don't need, but we're going to give them to you anyway. Via the various communication tools, every single one of my team members has personally welcomed me, introduced themselves. Like I've been very impressed with how not painful it's been. Within my first 2 days of employment, I had my first meetings with both, my immediate supervisor and then, his boss, and everyone's on the same page as far as plans and what we're going to do each week for the next several weeks. And it's just, for those of you like terrified of switching, I was terrified. It's not always bad. I will say, like, do as much research as you can before you start the new role. The biggest point of stress for me was leaving my last role and spending the last week and a half documenting everything I've done for 3 years, but trying to make sure that I don't leave anyone that I love with a mess on their hands, make sure that everyone that's left behind, I don't want any survivor's guilt. So I made sure that everyone that was left behind had, everything I was working on documented and any errors I was running into documented. And that was probably the most stressful part. The starting the new role, I mean, especially if it's at Salesforce, hint, hint, come join us. It just hasn't been at all like what I thought it would be. I don't know what I expected, but this wasn't it. And I am so happy.
Yeah, I think we onboarded, Steve, 100 people this year, something like that in JFrog.
Yeah. So I think starting during this sort of situation, it's a new experience for everyone, but if you have a good team, if you're set up to work virtually, and I think we're pretty fortunate in the tech industry that we can work from home and we can be reasonably productive, and not have our livelihoods impacted, mostly. I mean, I know a lot of people have situations, So you were talking a bit about how to use Jenkins, building, automating, deploying at Devnexus. So was your talk already up, or is it coming up later?
No, it just happened right before this. It
Awesome.
was as honestly, it was as smooth as a virtual conference can be. I recorded the video ahead of time. Although like I'm still dealing with COVID months later. Apparently the phrase is long hauler. It's neat having like asthma attacks walking up the stairs when you are an athlete. So I had to record it and like pick a day when I felt my best, but still like, normally when I'm at an event, I'm very animated and I'm super excited, but I was just like, hey, I've got COVID. But it got recorded, and it was actually really neat being able to do the live chat with people and answer questions in real time. And I actually lucked out a couple of people who use Jenkins in different ways than I've had to. I mean, obviously for any tool, your product dictates how you use it and what aspects of the tool's features you actually are familiar with, because if there's a feature you don't ever need, you might not know it's there. So it was actually really neat. There were a couple of people in the session that use it completely differently than I do. So I got to learn some new things myself, which is, I don't know, I think the goal of all of us getting together is to learn from each other.
Yeah, no, and I think one of the, I don't know, benefits, I would say, Baruch loves this, of virtual conferences, is you can clone yourself, right? So there's one version of you delivering the talk. Mm-hmm. And there's another version of you who actually can engage and hang out and chat with folks and be there.
One other advantage,
I tried clone myself to 3 today. I will be on stage on Devnexus. I will be in the chat of Devnexus, and I'm going to do there was Speakeasy interview with Kat and another guest all on the same time. Let's see how that works.
I can't imagine. I have this theory that no one can actually multitask. Like we can do multiple things at the same time, but we can't actually multitask.
Yeah, no.
And I've learned
at least half as good as just doing the one thing. That's for sure.
So actually, that was the worst part about starting a new job in the middle of COVID, is inevitably something goes wrong. My very first day, my toddler's daycare closed down for a day.
Ouch.
So instead of having 2 kids who are older and understand, language, that I could say, hey, do not come into this room. Mommy's got 5 hours of webinars. I had a 1.5-year-old at home for the whole day. So that was a neat little, but everyone on the team was really nice about it. Everyone in the webinar is really nice about it. So thanks, Salesforce.
Nice.
I don't know, be nice to the parents right now. Cause I try to remind like some of my friends, we have children, obviously, because we like the tiny humans and we want to raise tiny humans, and that's cool. But also I'm raising the future workers who are going to pay for all of our Social Security. Like,
very true.
If people in general don't breed, we don't have a workforce in 20 years. So you're welcome. Sorry, my productivity is a little bit lower, but you're welcome.
Yeah.
So you're helping all of our future retirements.
You know what? I really am taking one for the team here.
That's a great service.
We appreciate your service.
Yeah, I'm a giver. So, but no, the new job's going great. And like what I've met on my team, they've all been super kind and sweet. And my favorite part is they're as enthusiastic about teaching me as I am about learning. So bring it on. Bring on the challenge.